You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife. Should you feel sorry for this one's wife? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Now, before I am drowned out with a crescendo of, no, why should I feel sorry for her? Let me explain. It's a question, actually, that I've been asked on a number of occasions in relation to this one's wife, but also in relation to narcissists as a whole. Should one feel sorry for them? You might wonder, where might that concept of pity or sorrow come from? Well, the people that have asked this question have quite properly pointed out that, in effect, the narcissist isn't able to help what they do. This one's wife, like the majority of narcissists, isn't aware of what she is. She is an unaware narcissist. She would never sit at home on her own and think to herself, I'm a narcissist, aren't I? Or, could I be a narcissist? That sexy Mr. Tudor often says that I am. Could it be? No, she will never contemplate it on her own. She might ask it of other people, not because she seriously entertains the notion that she is a narcissist, indeed she rejects it, but what she does is mention it to somebody else to get their validation and confirmation that she isn't one, which then gives her that subconscious sense of control over whoever has called her a narcissist. So it is actually quite common for mid-range narcissists to ask other people, do you think I'm a narcissist? Not because they're actually entertaining the idea that they are, but because they're simply looking to assert control over the person they're talking to and nullify a threat to control posed by somebody else suggesting that they might be a narcissist. Nevertheless, this one's wife is governed by her narcissism. It was created during her childhood as a consequence of her genetic predisposition towards becoming a narcissist, and this was allied with a lack of control environment. The genetic mix was a potent one because both her parents are narcissists, and she was subjected, in effect, to lack of control environments, or at least two. One, the absence of her mother, and the second, that her father, in essence, allowed her to do whatever she wanted by treating her like a princess. Thus, her narcissism formed, and when it comes to her interactions with other people, this is what acts like a background app, guiding her behavior, causing her to conduct herself in a particular way. Everything that she does, when it involves another human being, is governed by the pursuit of the prime aims. She must have control over people, and she must keep those people under control and nullify any threats to control. A lot of the time she needs to get fuel from people. Some of the time she needs to get character traits and residual benefits. But it's those prime aims which are the driver of her behaviour as determined by her narcissism. She can't help but provoke people. She can't help but dole out pity plays. She can't help but smear, because her narcissism causes her to do that, to get that control and to get that fuel. She will embark in circular conversations and word salads driven by her narcissism. She will give the death stare driven by her narcissism. She will elbow her way into a conversation to put herself front and centre, driven by her narcissism. She never thinks to herself, is my behaviour a little bit full on here? No, that never crosses her mind, because the narcissism wouldn't allow it to occur. It's like a series of chips that regulate embarrassment and shame, remorse, conscience, guilt, a sense of decorum were all removed, and they just don't apply to her. And thus some people have posited the suggestion, well, in a way, shouldn't one feel sorry for her? Because in effect, she can't help what she does. It's the narcissism that causes her. She didn't ask to get the genetic predisposition. It arrived in her. She didn't ask for the lack of control environments. That came from the conduct of her parents. She didn't ask for the narcissism to be created within her. It just did as a self-defense mechanism. And all of the things that she does, all of the nastiness, the argumentativeness, the bullying, the smearing, the pity plays, the victimhood, all of that is thus generated by her narcissism. It is an instinctive response in the same way that a dog will bite, that a lioness will hunt, that a shark will pursue other marine life. It is an instinctive, knee-jerk response. Now, I know that there will be some who will say, no, she plots and she calculates. She doesn't. Take it from me. I know my kind, and she doesn't. That's why she makes so many errors. Yes, she'll plan ahead, aided by other people with regard to events, for instance, but she operates in the moment because she's an unaware narcissist. That's why she makes so many errors, so many gaffes. There are so many collateral consequences. A far more evolved and aware narcissist plots and calculates, and they wouldn't make the foolish mistakes that she has done so. Her levels of unpopularity, the faux pas that she is engaged in, are all indicative of the fact that she's an unaware narcissist. And anybody that believes that she sits and plots and plans it all, you don't understand narcissism. Yes, she's always wanted to be famous. Yes, she's always wanted to be a princess. But that's not the type of plotting and planning that an aware narcissist would go in. That's an overarching aim of her narcissism. Take it from me. She operates on a moment-to-moment basis, instinctive and knee-jerk. And thus that causes people to think, well, in effect, she's controlled by the narcissism, isn't she? And therefore she can't help but do what she does in the same way that a dog can't help that it bites, and a lioness can't help in the way that it hunts the gazelle. That's nature. And thus it leads people to ask, given that these are instinctive, entrenched behaviours over which she actually has no control because she doesn't even realise the problematic behaviour that she engages in because the narcissism blinds her to it, telling her that she's the victim, shouldn't it then be the case that one should feel sorry for her? In short, the answer is no. This is not a moral question. Many of you will think, well, irrespective of whether she plans or doesn't plan, I still wouldn't feel sorry for her because her behaviour is terrible. And even if she can't help it, so what? That still doesn't make it any better. She still does those things. I don't like her for the way that she conducts herself. You are perfectly entitled to form that view, to take a moral stance with regard to the way that she conducts herself. There are others who might say, well, actually, do you know what? Although I don't like her, I kind of feel sorry for her because she can't help it. She's doomed, in a way, to keep on committing these acts because of her narcissism, so I'm not going to hold that against her. Well, you can reach that conclusion, but I always explain to people that you should never, ever feel sorry for a narcissist. You should never pity a narcissist. I know there'll be some of you listening who'd say, well, that would never cross my mind to do so, HG. But believe me, there are many people that I consult with who feel sorry for the narcissist in terms of the fact that they can't help what they are, and also that their lives often are so haphazard they feel sorry for them, in and out of employment, in and out of intimate relationships, falling out with friends, falling out with family, etc. Generally, many of them are somewhat losers, and thus they feel sorry for them. But my clear advice is you should never ever feel sorry for a narcissist, which includes this one's wife. Why? Because it means you're remaining invested in the narcissist. Now, whilst you don't have a personal relationship with this one's wife, the observation is applicable and is particularly pertinent when it comes to your involvement with a personal narcissist. As you know, When you are fixed with knowledge that you're dealing with a narcissist, you should apply the first golden rule of freedom, which is once you know, you go, you get out, and you stay out. You impose a total no-contact regime. And part of doing that is to put yourself to a place of zero impact so that you feel nothing in relation to the narcissist. You don't miss them, you don't love them, you don't want to spend time with them any longer, you're not angered by them, you don't want to seek revenge against the narcissist, and you certainly ought not to feel sorry or feel any compassion or pity for the narcissist. All of those feelings must be removed, and you do so through the implementation and maintenance of a no-contact regime. Because feeling sorry for a narcissist is emotional thinking, it's not logical. Why feel sorry for someone that has been abusing you? Why feel sorry for somebody who causes so many problems for you? And the same is extended for this one's wife. Although she might not be causing a problem for you personally, you still find her behaviour distasteful and it gets up your nose. She annoys you. You don't like the way that she conducts herself, and therefore you shouldn't waste your emotion on feeling sorry for her just because, in effect, her behaviours are instinctive. It's therefore a useful opportunity for me to reinforce the message of no contact and to ensure that you don't have any form of emotional investment in the narcissist, whether it's the infamous one that is this one's wife or, more usually, the personal relationship that you have with one who was involved in your own life. You must not feel sorry for the narcissist. To do so is a breach of no contact and is a continuance of emotional thinking, which can lead to all manner of problems. Thus, when it comes to the narcissist in your life, you must not feel sorry for them, and you must apply the cold, hard logic that I explain to you in all of my videos in relation to the implementation and maintenance of a no-contact regime, and the same goes for your view of this one's wife. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.